Watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive, this is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Dive podcast. I am your host of the Trap or Dive podcast, Mual. AJ's in here. Dre is on the way. Appreciate everybody that's listening live. Woo! I think this is your first time that's checking in. That you first to the chat. What's up, player? I get it though. It was a rough game last night. So
down, set, go. Hey, watch me throw the ball.
It's definitely a frustrating moment. And Benz, let me tell you something.
For who? For who?
You said you need this group therapy session. This podcast is brought to you by the dog. We all in this together, you know. So if you got your drink, pour with your boy, so we can go ahead and get this show started. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're on the YouTube side. Audio side, man, hit that button, that follow button, hit the rating review if you can as well. It takes 10 seconds to do so, and it's free to show your support that way. Hey, that's
Jay
funny.
Tyler. Like, hey. Come on, bro. Like,
now, granted, he showed up as soon as the intro ended. He was right there, so it worked out.
Come on, man.
Oh, Dre's here. All right, let me add Dre to the shit. All right, boom, there we go. All right, so now all the fellas are in here, man. All right, Dre. I always get the camera on. Where your shit at, bro?
I ain't drinking today. You know, I drank so much on Sunday with AJ and them. I said I'm gonna take a week off. I had enough liquor that day to last me for 2 weeks, so I'm good.
Well,
hey, I just took a shot for you.
We didn't even get to take a shot, but I think I'm gonna
shit. I'm good. I ain't no sucker.
Remember that Henny joint with a dude drank that little baby bottle of Henny and started choking in the car?
Cut! Cut!
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's crazy.
You said y'all ain't taking a shot Sunday?
No.
I
was ripping and running so much, but like, I don't know how I wasn't like hella lit because I was like other people was buying me shots. lady at the bar was buying me drinks and randomly having the waitress send them. Like, yeah, but hey, we back at it November 1st. We back at it. Uh I mean,
Damn, there you
I don't
go.
have the full details right now to announce publicly, but November 1st, y'all be on the lookout. We put some of the content out on the Trap or Die page, Instagram and Twitter, X, however you want to call it. But yeah, I'm definitely not on the mall vibes today. I'm chilling. Like I feel like I'm losing my voice.
Well, make no mistake. I'm drinking. I'm drinking because I'm stressed out. But I ain't. You know, it
Oh, I
ain't.
thought you about to say, "Oh, I just showed that for the hell of it," and I'm drinking water.
Oh hell no, no, I'm drinking. I got 2 shows tonight, and I gotta deal with this shit twice. So, nah, but I think to Ben's point, hey, that's funny. Hey, you know what's crazy? I was about to say something about your locks too, AJ. I was like, you know when the fresh lock came through when you patting your head, bro. You know, I only do
Bruh.
that when the fresh locks coming through. When the Jones got the
Nah,
new growth, I
bruh.
just scratch that bitch.
Bruh, I got a concussion. Like I switched to like how you wear your barrels.
Uh-huh.
Man, bruh, my head has been on fire for the last
Oh,
2
you tender headed,
weeks.
bro.
No, I'm not even tender headed, but my scalp been going crazy since I
Oh,
got the barrels. And
shit,
I'm
I'm
like,
tender headed
I'm
right
not
now.
dirty. I don't have no dry scalp or whatever, but yeah, I'm not trying to, like you said, some women have been on FaceTime with me like, why don't you just scratch it? Why don't you use a rat tail comb? I'm like, this joint is brand new. I'm not about to mess up my hair. Like, so
Yeah, no,
yeah, I just been having a pat your weave, pat your weave.
I get it though, bro. It's I do the same thing like with new locks,
Oh,
especially or if I got like braids or a plait and it itch under the joint, I
yeah.
just pat the joint, bro.
Yeah, you just gotta pat the
Um,
joint, but I think my hand too heavy, so it feel like I'm getting hit.
Hey,
Like I'm running through the A gap or something. Like
I cannot relate to this conversation. I used
yeah, I
to have
know. So
nice
let's go
hair
ahead
back
and
in
get
the
the
go ahead, Dre. Show
I
us
just
what's
got a
underneath
lineup.
that hat.
All I got
got
is a
a
lineup,
lineup.
man. You know, that's all I do.
Man, James
Um,
Tyler is on me tonight. Whoa, bro! Like I look like AJ Brown. At least I look like a champion. I guess so.
he said at least I look like a champion. That's a good comeback, bro. All right, so let's get to the aftermath, man. Um, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't watched no film. I actually this morning when the shit was available, bro, I lie to you not. I looked at it. I was on my platform. I had the defensive tape loaded up, and on everything I love, I stared at that joint for like an hour. I was on Twitter the whole time that I was looking at the film. I was like, bro, do I want to start this shit, bro? I just kept talking on Twitter. I was like, I don't think I want to start this right now. Like,
But see, I'm curious to hear like other people's think like we're all fans of the team, right? So you said you couldn't even watch the film breakdown. I watched the film, but
well, I'm going to watch tomorrow. I couldn't watch today.
since the game ended, I have it feels like I don't even have ESPN in my cable package, bro. Because I have not seen nothing on ESPN today. Like for me, whenever like Washington loses, I can't watch ESPN
That's
like the
me.
next day.
I'm the
Like I
same
just
way.
can't
I
because it's like, and especially if it's a primetime game, I can't do it because they gotta highlight it in every single conversation. Like what Dre, like what's your thing after a Washington loss? Like what's I guess maybe almost like a sense of superstition that you can't do after a L.
Honestly, I'm kind of like you, AJ. I shut down. Like I don't read articles. Like normally when we win, I'm reading articles. I'm consuming every content. I'm rewatching the game, you know, at least 2 or 3 times. I don't rewatch the game. You know, I might look at a couple of film clips people post on social media, but I just shut everything down because I don't want to hear this shit, especially after I lost like last night. When you gave the game away, like this wasn't a game where we came in, you know, we just looked overmatched and everything. This was a game where you looked like you were supposed to win this game. You felt like you were supposed to win this game. And kind of in the midst of when you look at the whole combination of games coming up, this tough gauntlet that we have coming up, you thought that this was one of those games you have to have. and for you to lose that game the way you lose, yeah, I haven't watched anything. I'll listen to some area podcasts only because I know these people feel our pain, But as far as like listening to the national stuff and all of that, nah, I cut that out.
Yeah, bro, I have not watched TV at all today. Like, the only thing I've seen is maybe like some of Maul's posts. Some people tagged me and stuff last night. Like, you were right about Quan Martin, and I'm like, no shit. I'm always right. But nah. But nah, I mean, at the end of the day, I will say, like, Benz, I know you came on here for like group therapy session. Like, things could be worse, but at the same token, there's still opportunity for you to get over the feeling, because there's games coming up. Like, um I was in probably a space earlier, and like a guy was like really going off about his smoke. He was going off or whatever, and I was like, man, do you see the next couple games they got? If you mad about what took place last night, you might need to buckle up, because the defense is not going to change. The team is what it is right now. Maybe some guys can come back from an offensive standpoint, and maybe you could have a better, outing from like scoring wise. But that defense is what it is, and unless they start to encourage some of these younger guys to get on the field, I don't expect nothing to change, because the key thing with Adam Peters, and the main reason why like a lot of people wanted him to be GM, is the success that he had with lower round guys being able to crack through on rosters, and being productive, whether it be a Fred Warner, a Hufunga, you know, like those type of names. You don't have anybody that provides any semblance to some of those guys that you hit on, the Dre Greenlaws, maybe picking up a Chavez Ward in free agency. You don't have any of those guys so far. So it's like you're hoping that maybe the Kane Madrano might get a chance. Maybe what is it, Caillou?
Yeah.
Caillou, like, who was
Kyle, yeah.
undrafted, he gets an opportunity. Maybe Jordan McGee gets to step up a little bit more. Maybe the Tate Martins of the world. Like, you're just hoping that some of these later round draft picks can start to hit, because that's truly what makes up a roster. And so far, you don't really have anybody to look forward to. And that's one of my main, things that I probably would focus on today's episode on my behalf, is just like AP got to do a better job of bringing in these talents, and the coaches also got to work in alignment with him, and letting these guys get some rep. Because after watching some film, Quan Martin should not be on the football field no more, bro. Like, I don't know if y'all maybe seen my tweet or whatever, but that last first down that they gave up to DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, that was bad. I think ultimately, cause I'll start there. I think I was talking about Quan and I was talking about Jaden earlier today. Like PFF had Quan at like a 7. Like I don't remember it was 70 something, but he was the highest graded commander on the team last night. And I think from my recollection, because again, I told you I didn't watch the tape today. But from my recollection, like the only time where I saw in real time where Quan had his mistakes was the missed tackle, and then that last play that you're discussing. And what's important with the mistakes that this team makes, it doesn't matter like all the good that you do early on in the game or throughout a game, right? If because people make mistakes, that one mistake or those couple of mistakes happen in very critical moments of the game. Like that's when you need to be most locked in. And your team needs you the best, needs you most. And in this particular game, Jaden says he lost focus. Like I appreciate that response. Like, does that mean it's okay? No. But like, damn, bro, like what the fuck was going on in your head that says you lost focus? That's on his side. And then for Quan, when we talk about the boot action, it was a toss. Like, my guess is, and like to put it bluntly, I don't think he saw the ball pitched. Like in his head, I don't think he saw the ball pitched. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go after this quarterback, but does that make it okay? No, it's the same thing. Like when you're in that position, especially as the third level guy, like you would imagine, and I may be wrong based on their scheme, but the way that he reacted and how everybody else flew to the football, like I would imagine the force contained is on the first level, not the third level. So you playing hero ball in that moment, or thinking that you playing hero ball in that moment, like you could have came down, and if you played this properly, you could have came downhill, and maybe instead of a 15-yard game, we may be talking about 8, maybe talking about 7. He got 15. And I think when we talk about the mistakes that this team makes, I'm not going to just focus on Quan. Like sometimes these errors that these people are making, like the bigger names, think about the names that we constantly throw out there, right? It's Quan, it's Sam Steele. Sam Steele got blessed. Like that touchdown that got called back. I forgot what the call was, but it was some bullshit. I remember it being some bullshit in the moment. The flag. Yeah. Oh well, I mean that's procedural, so maybe it wasn't bullshit. Yeah. But like Quan Sam Steele got blessed, but think about the names. Quan, Marshawn, Mikey. Right? Those are the main 3 defensively. And then we're talking about offensively is the offensive line. Like Andrew Wiley had solid games up until this point for me, but Dre, you mentioned it last night, and then somebody else mentioned it as well. I don't remember who it was, but they said that they thought that Quan in the moment, Wiley in the moment had a bad game too. But like offensively, it's just everybody taking their turns with mistakes, drop balls. Chris Moore had a good game, but then he had a couple drop passes too, and it's like those mistakes sometimes just compile on top of one another. And I think ultimately, you don't know when it's going to start to click with this defense or this offense. Like you don't know, bro. And that's kind of the frustrating thing is like you want to be patient, right? But also like as much patience as you provide or as much leash as you provide to this team, it's like, bro, like get it together because this is crunch time now. Like we're actually in a serious part of our schedule, and like that's the part that I'm struggling with.
Let's see. I think we at the point now, and when I said this a couple of weeks ago, people looked at me like I was crazy when they were saying, well, what can Joe Witt do? These are the players making all the mistakes out there. Well, I'm like, try somebody else. I see my guy Moneyball in the chat saying bench Bobby Wagner. When I said something like that early on, it was like, well, who you gonna put in? Well, what's worse at this point? I'm not even just singling out Bobby Wagner here. I'm just talking about anyone on the defense that you see are making consistent and routine mistakes. What right now is the harm in trying something different? When you look at the Quan Martins, guys making the same mistakes over and over. If you want to discipline somebody, if you want to see if something else works, I want to see if my scheme works here. I want to see if this guy works my scheme a little better. Maybe try something different. That's all I was saying early on, or at least a couple of weeks ago when you talk about that, because what else can you do right now? Because right now, like I said, there's no one else coming in that's going to save the day. They just signed Drake Jackson today, who's an intriguing guy, but he had so many injuries. You don't know if he's ever going to, be the guy that the 49ers eventually drafted him to be. But my point is, you're not signing anyone off the street that's going to come in and instantly make this defense better or take this defense to somewhere else you want to go. So you got to look at what you have in that room. I mean, if Bobby Wagner is too slow in coverage and he's a liability, and yesterday he wasn't even good in the run, why is he playing 100% of the snaps on the field? I don't know what his snap count was yesterday, but for the most part of this season, he's been playing 100% of the snaps. So what? how do you start to decrease that role? That seems like that's too much for Bobby Wagner at this point in his career. Start working Jordan McGee into these packages. I mean, if he makes some mistakes, cool. So is Bobby Wagner. He's making mistakes. Now, I mean, I don't know who's behind Quan Martin that's, good or anything, but, try something different. If guys are, maybe it's a discipline. Maybe you sit them down for a couple of plays, not a whole game or something. You just try something different, but yeah, it is a personnel issue because like I said earlier, right now, this team is a elite or at least a really good pass rusher away from being, or at least playing complementary football on the defensive side of the football. Dorrance Armstrong, he's good guy. You want to have a Dorrance Armstrong on your team, but Dorrance Armstrong is not a game changer. Now, I don't know how long it takes for us to get that game-changing defensive end or pass rusher in, but I think that helps any defensive coordinator, Joe Witt, anybody. We don't have that right now, but we're also struggling with coverage issues. But I also think if you had that type of pass rusher, that can mask those things. But we don't have that right now. So right now you have to look for those alternatives. And this is at the point of the season when you start to try to find those answers. I know Dan Quinn mentioned in his press conference today, one of the things he may try to do to find a solution is he's got to go back to the competition drawing board of practice. I mean, if that means, spots are up for grabs at this point. I don't know how to interpret that, but that could be what we're, facing now,
Well, one thing that Quinn mentioned in his presser today, you were talking about the linebackers, and both of y'all were talking about the linebackers at some point, like the younger guys. He said he wasn't pleased with the second level run fits in last night's game. It's like, with most things, even though with the complementary things I like, then things I didn't like, things didn't. Bro, I hate these transcriptions, bro. So
Man,
we've got
why
to
you over
work
there reading
hard
like Floyd
to
Mayweather?
level those out. I'm reading everything word for word. So we've got to work hard to level those things out, and that's for sure. He just mentioned basically the second level run fits. I think that's a big deal. Even in the 7 plays, I told you I ain't watched them. I watched 7. I watched 7, and I said, you know what, fuck this shit. But like early on, bro, I saw like what hurts the most. Like even on, it was an early run, like probably like the second or third play of the game. DeAndre Swift went for like 7 yards, and it could have went for even a bigger play, right? Like their eyes. It's inexplicable, like for me, because I just don't know. I can't get in the mind of these guys, and I don't know like what is fooling them. Like Deron Payne lined up as a nose guard, zero tech, right? And the Bears had a tight end post snap send their tight end across the formation. The run play was to their offensive left. The tight end was sent post snap across the formation to the right, and you got Deron Payne as a nose guard, zero technique, and he sheds the block, right? So think about it. As your zero tech, you're playing 2 gaps, right? You're playing on the left and the right, and he sees the tight end. Like they already handed the ball off to Swift. He sees the tight end, bro, and he runs with the tight end, completely vacates the A gaps. And by God's grace, I don't know who it was that made the play or the tackle, but if they didn't make that play and DeAndre was like savvy enough or had the right instincts, like the vision, like we're talking about a 7-yard gain being like 20. And like later on in the game, it just got to them. Like I think like the way that their eyes were, all 3 levels, they just were super aggressive and biting on like some of the first things that they see are just the eye candy. And I mean I said it last night, but like that's just kind of one of the areas of focus that they really need to be paying attention to in practice. And I don't know if that's going to change because that's kind of the nature of the defense or the kind of team that they had, bro. And when it comes to certain players, like Marshawn, that's one person. Like Mikey, I think he has a whole different deal going on because like he's getting tested vertically a lot. I don't know. Defensively, and I think somebody in the chat mentioned. So there's 2 things. Shout out to Caleb. What's up, Caleb? I don't know if you're still in here. I'm gonna get to your point last because that's kind of a larger conversation. Somebody else mentioned, damn, who was it? I don't want to scroll all the way up. Yeah, I lost. I can't find. Oh, so like, I think we're past the point of like off-season conversations or given like. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but like in this moment, week 6 going into week 7, we're past the point of like off-season acquisitions or giving time for AP to build. Like, I want to remind everybody, like, we didn't think that. I 100% agree. I don't think that anybody thought that this defense was going to be top 10 after the offseason that they had this year. But you thought that they were going to be drastically improved because they had a specific focus, right? They wanted to get better in the run game. And then they got 2 solid cornerbacks in Trey Amos and Marshawn Lattimore. Perceived solid, right? Trey Amos has shown like none of the bullshit has affected him. Like, he the one guy in the secondary that's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm doing my thing. I don't know what the fuck y'all doing. Even though he did fuck up in Atlanta. One time or a couple times. But like, that's one thing, right? Like, you don't need to worry about the offseason. We don't need to worry about the offseason right now. We got 11 weeks left. Like, focus on what's here and what's right now. But the bigger conversation does come with Joe Witt. And Caleb mentioned Joe Witt. He thinks that they need to fire Joe Witt. I'm in this space, Dre and AJ, is where I wanted to get y'all take on. I don't think last night had a lot to do with Joe Witt from a schematic standpoint. But the problem is when you have a coach whose unit consistently fucks up, has no signs of getting better, regardless of who's playing and who's not. They're clearly continuing the bus coverages, right? And you can't keep preaching in the media like what you want to do, what you need to do. If it's not working, at some point, Dan Quinn will have to make a decision about one of his good friends that he brought on to be a DC. And that conversation, I think, is more real than anything else, because after 2 off seasons, you've been able to get some pieces here and there to help build your defense. Not to say that it's the vision is exactly where you want it, but you banked on some of these guys who's on your roster right now that's not playing good. And that's ultimately where I'm at. Like, I don't think that like the firing conversation doesn't exist right now, but the fact that Caleb brought it up is like, sure, part of what is not working is going to visibly or perceivably look detrimental to the coordinator who cannot get this shit together. Of course, position coaches exist too, but who is the main person in charge? That's going to be the coordinator. They're going to look at the coordinator. And Dre, to what you're saying over the last couple of weeks as well, that kind of goes to your point. Like, nigga, eyes are on you at this point. It don't matter if they can't get right, which they can't. But eyes are on you, bro.
I mean, I think that yeah, people gonna say Joe Witt Jr. needs to get fired, whatever. I just think overall they don't have the personnel. Like, you can't. I guess that's why
Pause. I'm gonna let you finish. I just want to ask this question to your response. Even if they don't have the personnel, how long are you willing? It's no right or wrong answer. This is just, I'm trying to get your perspective. How long are you willing to wait to see if? How many offseasons are you willing to wait to see if Joe Witt got everything that he need for this defense to play to the level that they need to play at?
I mean, I think that's a tough question to answer here, because they should all be working in unison with each other, from the coaches to the personnel staff to the head coach. Like, hey, these guys that you're adding here for me to work with, I can't cook the food that you want. You feel me? Like if you say you want spaghetti and meatballs, and you give me ham and Swiss cheese, I can't make spaghetti and meatballs from that. And that's essentially what the defense is. Like, you have no elite players defensively. So because you don't have elite players, you need everybody to do their damn job when they on the field. And we've seen it. We've seen guys trying to play hero ball. We've seen guys not really doing what they're supposed to do within the integrity of the defense. I mean, yeah, you touched on like a couple plays with Quan, but it's been more plays than that. It's just simple things. Like he can't make a motherfucker get an interception. You feel me? If the ball is there for you to go in double coverage and get a pick, you should be able to get that. Like,
Well, you also know too that same play that he gave up that 55 yarder. You know who was right next to him when Quan missed the tackle?
that was Marshawn. But
Now I'm
Quan,
not
but
blaming
Quan,
I'm not blaming Marshawn for the missed tackle. I'm
yeah,
blaming him for the effort in terms of like not finishing through the whistle. He assumed the play was over. Like
yeah,
that's the
that
only thing I'm pointing
that
to.
was wrong. But also Quan bumped into him, throwing him off. Like, what are you even doing here? You feel me?
I can't. We
Yeah,
talking
I
about
mean,
after the fact,
it's
bro.
a lot to dissect. I think a lot of people have tried to mention Marshawn, but honestly, over the past few weeks, he hasn't been playing as bad as people would have it out to believe. Even like I sit here with the Mikey Sanders thing. Like, it is hard to play nickel cornerback in the NFL. Extremely hard. I think Mikey did a better job on the outside, but I'm almost in the thought process like Mikey might be better suited as a free safety. It might be better for him to keep his eyes on the quarterback and make a read, because at this point, Quan Martin is not that guy to be your last line of defense, right? Um, it's just a lot of things, and it can't improve because you can't make a bunch of changes every week. We're seeing Washington in the mix of the waiver wire, in a sense, like having different guys work out. I mean, today they added Drake Jackson, who's a former San Francisco 49er, if I'm not mistaken, played at USC coming out of college, whatever. You know, what's the plan for Drake Jackson? Like, because to me, he's more so of the elk of a Jacob Martin. Like, so what is the plan for him? You also brought in a Preston Smith. So that just tells me you have pieces on your roster, but you're not satisfied with them, because Washington keeps being involved in so many different conversations at different positions. They've added a Robbie Chosen. Now Traylon Burks is supposed to be coming in for a visit tomorrow as well. Like, so what are we actually doing here? Because guys are getting added last minute, whatever the case is. So it's like the coaches can only do but so much, and yes, they will get the blame. And that's why for me, it'd be hard for me to be a coach, because it's like you're telling a motherfucker on a regular basis, sorry to curse, you're telling a motherfucker on a regular basis what to do, what's about to happen, what this looks like from film review, all that. And then they just go out there and do the complete opposite of everything you've been coaching them up for the entire year. And
And
in
you would bench
particular,
them if
that
they do that
matchup.
if you were a coach, right?
Say that again.
I said you would bench them if you were a coach and they continued to go against what
Man,
you asked
if
them to do.
if I was a coach, I'd probably kill one of them. I'd be Bob Knight. So that's
That's not an
why
option.
I mean, it's not an option, but that's why some of us can't be coaches. You feel me? Like, even if I were to be coaching the youth, I would have a problem, because it's like I'm telling you what is about to happen. I'm giving you all of the tips and tricks of what is going to take place, and you still, as a grown ass man who's getting paid a lot of money, you don't do that. It's kind of frustrating, because now my job is on the line. So it's it's the interesting thing. I mean, we none of us thought that they were gonna go undefeated this year, right? But it's just like
It's how
this
they
team.
lose, bro. To me, it's I don't. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
nobody
I guess
expected
I guess what I'm
undefeated,
saying
but like
is,
how they lose, bro, is it's aggravating, because it's not like you are competent in all three phases of the game, right? Like you are leaking like a sieve, whatever.
Steve.
Yeah, all that shit. You leaking, bro, in certain areas. And like offensively, we ain't even get to this part yet. And we can talk about it after you're done talking, AJ. Offensively, bro, like they brought in Traylon Burks for a reason, for a workout. Like, y'all niggas at receiver, y'all ever see, bro? You bringing in Treylon Burks, bro?
But what that to me?
But
The whole.
I
Go ahead.
was just
Yeah.
gonna finish off with. At the end of the day, it kind of is what it is. You can't do but so much. You feel me? You can't do but so much. And I just think that this
Say
team
it,
just
bro.
gotta. I don't even know, bro. Like, cause I'm not really as frustrated as a lot of people are. I just think that we need to see them play consistent football on all three levels of the game. And we have not been seeing that yet so far. Even though they're 3-3, we have not been able to pinpoint to a game like last year and been like, oh yeah, they played at an elite level offensively, or they played at an elite level defensively, or special teams, or even all three. We haven't
That's
even seen the offense be elite yet. We haven't
that's
seen the
the
defense be elite in any game. Like, we haven't seen special teams be elite in any aspect, because you still got this
actually.
kicker out here
Oh yeah.
missing fucking
Okay.
kicks. Like, yeah, like, so it's just like you have not
But
seen.
that's actually part of the conversation, though, AJ. Like, if you're not concerned or upset, that's cool. Like, and also like I'm not there yet. I lied. I'm angry when we lose but I'm angry when we lose because it's how, like I mentioned, it's how we lose that upsets me, because it's like even when we in the games that we've won, we've shown like the red flags for why we can't get shit together on both sides of the ball. And I think for Washington, um, when you're talking about win loss, win loss, win loss, like that track, it's only a matter of time till we're talking about either you lose two straight or you can win back to back. And like in terms of consecutive wins or consecutive losses, like it's a matter of time. Like you can't go the whole season talking about some win loss. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all. And you're talking about going up against a Dallas team, the number one offense in the NFL, right? And without CD at this point, the number one offense in the NFL, and this is a team that has started slow in every game on the road, and in multiple games recently, they've been down 10 plus points. Like, I don't, of course, it's cool not to be upset or mad, but like, I think there's a legitimate concern level for people out there. And I hope that this doesn't come across to people that's listening to the audience like, this is like fear mongering. I don't know if that's the right word. Like, I don't like, we're just addressing, I guess, what appears to be the reality, especially with like this defense and then slow starts. I think all of this is important.
It's a legitimate question. I mean, like I said, we haven't seen the team that we saw last year, which is concerning because at this point, it's fair to say that it feels like the team has taken a step back. It's still a lot of season to be played, and it's still some time to turn it around. But I want to see the hunger from this team. Like last year, they came out like, we want to let you all know that we're here, and we're going to come out here and we're going to dictate how we're going to play, especially on the offensive side of the football. Defense had their issues, but eventually they settled in, at least to play some complementary football. But this year, nothing has really settled in yet. And I do, you could probably attribute that to the injuries and all. Like, I seen some in the chat saying that you missed Terry and Noah last night. Sure, you missed those guys. You need those guys. They're going to make you a better team. But I don't feel like their absences was the reason why you lost yesterday. Like, I mean, that game was there to be won without their absences. I had people telling me that all day on X today, but I'm like, no, like the chances were there. We're making mental mistakes that we weren't making last year, whether that's on the defense, whether that's on the offense. And when you talk about the defense, to answer the question about Joe Witt, I don't agree with in-season firings, only because I don't really feel like you get unless there's like something where the guy is just getting into it with the players and they don't get along with the guy, whatever. But if it's not that, I don't agree with in-season firing because I don't feel like you get much better from that. Like, how do you get much better in season just because you fired this guy, unless this guy is just a detriment to the team in some kind of way? Now, I know Jay Tyler, me and him have had some conversations before, and Jay Tyler, was alluding more to the players and saying that, he thinks that the players or Joe Witt has lost the defense. And then I'm like, what is the disconnect? For me, that's what I want to know at this point. Like, why is there this disconnect between Joe Witt and the guys that he's out there coaching? Now we can sit up here and talk about the players and what they don't have, the lack of attributes, whatever. But Joe Witt, at some point, you can get something out of these guys, because before this season, we all thought Mikey Sanders still was kind of poised to have, or at least be a solid corner. We felt like Marshawn Lattimore, he comes out, he'll have a better season after being healthy. We felt like Quan Martin was about to be on the verge of breaking out. Dan Quinn told us that himself. Like, me and AJ, we differ in why Dan Quinn did that. But to the point of, I felt like I believed Dan Quinn when he said Quan Martin was about to break out. Then you have the defensive line. I thought Javon Kinlaw was going to be a good signing, which, I think he's been
he's been pretty good.
Yes, he's been one of the better ones this season. But
matter of fact, I think that the Chicago game was probably the one game where he's just been super quiet.
Yeah, right. But I say all that to say that before this season, we thought we at least had guys that could make this defense, maybe not a top 10, because I didn't expect top 10, but I at least thought they can get you somewhere in that middle of the pack and they could play complementary football, and you could at least get that out of this group. Yeah, sure, there may not be no elite guys in there, but if these guys are listening to you and they're buying into what you're selling, they're going to play hard for you, and it's going to show up in the results. Like I said, you may not get a stop every time, but you're going to go out there and play complementary football. We haven't really seen that from this defense this year. Now, of course, like I said, Joe Witt may need more talent, but why can't we get more out of these guys? Because we thought these guys all had good reputations coming into this season. Now everyone's like, these guys are all trash. They're all shit. They're all ass. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like there's more to be gotten out of these players that we haven't gotten yet. And like I said, it's not all on Joe Witt. Yeah, those players got to stop being dumb, or whatever you want to call it. But something has to be, you have to respond in some kind of way. And I do believe there's a disconnect. And who knows if that disconnect is fixable or solvable. But if it's not solvable, if it's not fixable, then sure, after this season, you could look in a different direction. But I do not agree with in-season firing, because I just don't think it helps much.
All right, let's get to the offense. But I want to get your opinions on one thing, and then we get to the offense. Two moves that y'all will make defensively, 2 changes. And I want to hear from the chat too. 2 changes that y'all will make defensively right now going into Dallas week. What would they be?
For me, I would bench Quan Martin. I would allow.
Oh yeah, I'm listening.
I would allow Darnell Savage or Tyler Owens to get more of those reps. I'm overseeing Quan Martin on the field. Then another move that I would make is I would allow Jordan McGee to play a little bit more. Let him get a little bit more snaps defensively, whether that be at pass rush, because a lot of people don't remember last year they did work him out with Jamin Davis at pass rusher. He was doing a lot of those drills, but I would let McGee get on the field a little bit more. But those are my 2 things, because it's kind of hard when you say, hey, bump Mikey back outside. Well, a lot of the people don't understand Trey Amos is strictly an outside corner. Marshawn is strictly an outside corner. So if you want to move Mikey anywhere, it would have to be to the bench. And that would mean Noah Igbenogany or Jonathan Jones playing slot corner. Maybe that's a bonus thing, and having Jonathan Jones, if he's able to return back, having him be the slot corner. But for me, definitively, I would move Quan Martin off the field. I'm good off, bruh. Like I don't need to see any more from him. Like, and I would definitely let Jordan McGee play a bit more snaps from an overall standpoint.
For me, AJ, you made a good point earlier about Mike Sainristil. And I thought about this because Mike Sainristil is really good when he's able to watch the quarterback. He's able to make plays on the ball. I would put him in more of a hybrid role. Like start using him in a hybrid role where he's able to, use his strengths to the best. Because Mikey's not a bad player. I don't think Mikey's a bad player at all. Mikey has strengths, and those strengths can be really useful, especially when you talk about he's the only guy I feel like on the defense that can consistently make plays on the ball. Like he's the guy that consistently can get you the turnovers. So put him in positions like a hybrid role, so to speak, where he's in positions to make more plays more often, where he's not trailing defenders and playing press man-to-man coverage a lot, especially in the slot. It's a tough position. That would be my first. And my second, I'm with the Bobby Wagner thing. Bobby Wagner, I think you have to start decreasing his usage, decreasing his role, and start bringing Jordan McGee up, because I'm at the point of what's the worst that can happen at this point. Is Jordan McGee, are we scared that Jordan McGee is going to just flat out go out there and give up every play and burn you, in a game? Because right now the alternative isn't any better. This team isn't making stops and they're not creating turnovers. Like it's a bend but don't break defense that can't play opportunistic football. So to me, that's as bad as it gets because you can't do anything right in that facet. Like you're just kind of escorting teams. We escorted Chicago to at least the 30-yard line every time, it seems like. I think they only punted like one time yesterday. Like that's that's giving up a lot.
Bruh. Swift went 5 carries for like 34 yards on the last drive, bro. Like, and Drake, bro, tell the people, you didn't even, we talked about this before we started the show, bro. What did you do after Jaden Daniels fumbled the ball, bro?
I started getting prepared for the show. I turned the TV off. I went and did a couple things downstairs, cleaned up a little bit.
Because you knew the game was over.
Yeah, I caught the field goal when I came back upstairs and got ready for the show. I already knew what was gonna happen.
Bro, 5 carries for 34 yards, bro, on the last drive, bro. And I think like the more frustrating things is like when people because not about AJ, but like when people talk about them being frustrated about this game, like I think it holds more weight because of like even the conversation we had on Thursday, right? Previewing the Bears game. All the parallels that Washington has with with Chicago. Like there's so much that ties into Chicago and Washington playing each other and like the comparisons throughout the season. You don't want to lose that game from that aspect, but then also like you don't want to lose the game, period. And the way in which you lose is a big deal. And like for them to like, bro, it wasn't even close the way they lost. Like that last drive, they got positive yards every fucking play. And like in a moment where your team needs you to step up, bro, you couldn't do it. Granted, let's acknowledge this is just one game. And I think that's more important than anything else that people need to realize. This team can really surprise you as long as they're locked in throughout the week. I think that's a really good deal. And I don't know if it's going to come on the defensive side, but that offensive side, and let's transition to that. I think Sam Cosmi mentioned that if he didn't play against Chicago, he was going to be back against Dallas. So those are his words. I know it's not easy to listen to players and believe what they say in terms of like the medical side, right? But assuming that he's right, you ain't got to worry about Wiley no more, right? Unless they bench Chris Paul, right?
No, I ain't gonna do that.
And put Wiley over there. But we ain't got to worry about Wiley no more. Side note, Conley has been pretty quiet now that Wiley's been around. Like these last 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, like Conley hasn't been perfect. Like I've seen watching the tape, I've seen a few plays where Jaden Daniels saved him. But that's besides the point. Like he's a rookie. I'll let that shit slide. But Sam Cosmi's supposed to be coming back. Terry McLaurin, he's been teetering on coming back the last couple of weeks. Brad, like I don't know what AJ. Matter of fact, let me talk to you. Ain't no way in hell you look at Chris Moore and 12 personnel and 13 personnel, and Chris Moore's out there on that field, and you say, I love the fact that Chris Moore's out here because he's a threat to this defense. He can make anything happen. I have no problems that fucking Terry McLaurin is not playing or where the fuck is Debo at? Because honestly, last night, I was a little surprised by Debo's usage. Now, granted, I know he was getting some treatment, like in terms of like his ankle or shit like that. That's one thing, but that's also to my point. Like, if he's hurt, like I ain't about to fucking deal with no Chris Moore and like Treylon Burks coming in again. Like I said, if you over here entertaining Treylon Burks, not saying that he's some trash, but bro, like if you entertaining Treylon Burks, you need help. And you know who would help?
Burks thing confuse you though? Like why are they? I mean, I feel like you got Robbie Chosen. You brought him in.
I don't even like him. I thought he was good. I think he was done 3 years ago.
But I'm just questioning what are we doing here? Because I mean, obviously, I think Terry and Noah. I mean, that's where I'm first going to. Like, are these guys not close to coming back? Noah, I'm honestly just kind of not even counting on him. I'm surprised.
I ain't mentioned Noah.
Yeah, I'm surprised when he's playing. But for me, it's like, I mean, because I know Debo's dealing with his issues, and maybe Debo's headed for a couple of games rest or whatever. But I'm like, are they scared that Terry is not, close to coming back? Because we really don't know Terry's status. Like, we just keep hearing that, they hope that he plays this week. They hope that he plays this week. We're going on week 4 that Terry may be missing, which means they could have IR'd him back when they first came out with the injury news if he misses this week. But I mean, that's going to be something to monitor this week. But I'm just a little confused with the Treylon Burks working out, because I'm like, all right, I mean, do they not like what they have in the stable as far as, like the Robbie Chosens, the Tate Martins that they got? I'm not a fan of Chris Moore, and I don't think many people are. He made one great catch last night, which, maybe redeemed the drop from last week. Then he dropped a couple. He's just not reliable. So maybe that's what the Treylon Burks thing is coming in for, but I don't know. I feel like they like him. It's just confusing to me why they working Treylon Burks out.
I mean, you got to give a guy that's a first-round pick an opportunity. He got the size. Still kind of stiff, but I mean, when you got a Chris Moore on your active roster and you've also made Tate Martin active multiple times, you now can't move him back to the practice squad. So it's just kind of like, it's just a roster management overall. I'm seeing like posts in here about Debo not being healthy. That's why they're bringing in Treylon Burks. Nah, you really don't have you don't have no guys at the wide receiver position. I mean, yeah, some people are champion, like even Luke McCaffrey for playing better, but I mean, is that someone you really want to rely on? He's made some nice catches, but last night, even the touchdown, that was butt naked. Like, that was a beautiful call by Cliff.
He had a tough catch too that was called back. You gotta give him credit for that.
Yeah, he did. I like that.
A tough contested catch that was called back.
I gotta give him credit for something that didn't count.
No, I'm just saying it earns the trust of the quarterback. It earns the trust of the quarterback.
Hold on. I gotta give him credit for something that didn't
count.
That's
2 weeks in a row, though, AJ. 2 weeks in a row that he made
play happen.
Tough contested.
It wasn't a false.
It wasn't his fault.
Play dead.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
the rep still happened.
All I'm saying is I think he's earning more of the quarterback's trust. That's it.
And I want to acknowledge, like, I'm not about to sit here, like, because Jay Tizzy's saying he feels Treylon Burks feels a certain role. I think one of the mistakes that we're going to get into when we talk about a Treylon or any receiver that comes around that, like, we have nothing. Look, these guys are coming from different schemes. They are different type of players that we are unfamiliar with, like, from our standpoint. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly what Treylon Burks' role going to be here. Because I know you mentioned, I'm talking about JT. I know you mentioned Debo Samuel in terms of, like, he's going to do the shit that he did. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Not to say that you're wrong, but I wouldn't say that. Like,
yeah, we have no clue what Treylon Burks is. You feel me? Like, Tennessee is in a bad situation. Like, overall, like, I have no clue. I knew about him going into the draft process or whatever, and actually a lot of fans wanted Treylon Burks over any other receiver in this draft.
What year was that Treylon came out?
I think that was like the same year
Jahan Dotson. He literally was the next pick.
Okay, so it was a year before AJ got moved, or the same year that AJ got moved.
The same year AJ Brown got moved. They made the trade and literally went and got Treylon Burks. So what? Jahan Dotson got picked 16th overall, and then the 17th pick was Traylon Burks.
Traylon.
So it's just you don't know. I mean, when someone goes first round, you got to give them opportunity. I think it kind of even goes back to the Javon Kinlaw thing. Traits. AP obviously believes in traits. A lot of people question the signing of Javon Kinlaw. I could say that he's played to the level of the contract. He's shown where he has
Yeah, I
ability.
think Javon's been good, bro.
Yeah, he's shown that he has ability, and it's just based on some guys got to be in different situations. So, I mean, we'll see if he gets added to the team, but they could use some guys with some more size and a little bit more of a physical presence to their game. Um, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're pretty much just hoping that you strike on somebody and and they're able to be productive. We haven't even really focused on the offense. They still need a running back. Like, I mean, Bill is solid, but at the end of the day, you got 2 fumbles and you haven't even had a bunch of workload yet. That's kind of concerning. So it's just let's just see if the team can be consistent, especially going into this Dallas week. Dallas has a high potent offense. Their defense isn't really good, but can they flip the field? Can they bring some heat to Dak Prescott? Can they possibly slow down George Pickens and CD Lamb, who might be coming back? But yeah,
To the Bill point, 14-27. I'm tripping. Hold on, let me double check. Uh, yeah, so he's getting that's 31. I think 31 attempts over the last 2 games. 14 and 17, and essentially what you're fumbling. If you got 2 fumbles and you're fumbling, what 31 about 15 every 15 snaps or 15 carries you fumbling, bro. You got to think about that. Like if you extrapolate that from a season long standpoint, that's a person who is a spellback. You're not necessarily a number one. Now granted, I want to give Bill credit because like after he fumbled, he did a solid job. I mean, clearly he didn't fumble again, but like he did a solid job just protecting the ball and also like just found whatever room that he was able to find. The offensive line for whatever reason was actually surprising to me because like I'm used to them like over the last I would say like 3-4 weeks. Honestly, season long outside of the Green Bay game, like they took care of business. So this week against Chicago, from a run game standpoint, not a scramble overall, because overall you got like 130, 140 yards rushing. That's good. But from a run game standpoint, a little surprising that they wasn't able to like really spring any of their running backs for some big plays. But to AJ's point, and I agree, and I said this yesterday too, like, when you get more carries, right? Like you gotta like 2 fumbles and 31 carries is not good for running back.
Not good, but it's too early to give up on him. But I agree with my guy Jay Tyler here, man, on Chris Rodriguez. I do think they have to get him more involved. I still like the running back room that they have, and I actually think this is one of the least concerns on offense. As far as I think it's one of the lower priorities of trying to upgrade because I still like what you have in that room. J Mac runs hard as hell, or at least in the opportunities that he gets. But I want to see Chris Rodriguez kind of use more so in them tackles and kind of alternate with Bill, like let them two kind of wear the defense out. I go back to the old school days of, the Giants where you had Thunder and Lightning with Ron Dane, and I think it was Brandon Jacobs.
Nah, you thinking about Brandon Jacobs?
Yeah, those two guys. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I miss those days when you kind of had that power back and the cutting back that can kind of come in and do something different to change your pace back, so to speak. That's what I thought Bill's role would be. But I think the goal the last couple of weeks was to see what Bill can do with an increased workload, because obviously his yards per carry was super high. So you're like, okay, what can this guy do with an expanded role? And those 2 fumbles don't help him, but at the same time, it's way too early to give up on him and kind of say, all right, you kind of shifted, towards more of the bench. No, let him work those through. Now, obviously, I do think that, it has to stop. Like he can't fumble anymore this season. I know that's kind of a slippery slope or a thin line with him, but he has to know that he can't fumble anymore. And I think he's one of those kids that can go out there and prove that he can't be relied on. It's too early to give up on him. And I like the running back room.
I mean, when I say that, I'm not saying give up on him, but if you have the opportunity to possibly acquire Alvin Kamara, a Brees Hall, you got to look into it, because I feel like at that running back position, you essentially got to draft a running back every year until you hit on one. So
Which is fine. I believe it.
Yeah,
But what we
which
doing?
is not
What we doing?
it's not a problem, but I think this offense could use a little bit more firepower. I think that's why a lot of us got excited about Bill within the run game, because you feel like he could possibly take that to the crib, or he has better vision. But I just think that if somebody is available as we get closer to trade deadlines, and a lot of trades have been happening in the NFL this season before the deadline, it's something that you got to be intrigued by. Like, hey, could I add a Brees Hall to this offense? Could I add
I ain't
a
trading for
Alvin
no
Kamara?
running back, bro.
I'm not trading. We got to get younger as a team with homegrown talent. We can't keep giving up picks for other people.
You got 5 draft picks, bro.
I mean, you talking about the 2026 draft class, but I mean, you can go into other years. Like,
you can, and I don't disagree with that, but also like I think the
so
idea.
if you could add a Brees Hall or Alvin Kamara to this offense, you gonna be more concerned about picks from 2 years from now?
Yeah, because I don't think what's the added win value that those 2 guys bring to the team right now. And I don't think that what's holding you back as a team and holding you back from wins is the running back room or Alvin Kamara or Brees Hall. Like that's for me. If I was to even entertain a trade, which I just don't think is going to happen this year, it would be on the defensive side of the football, because I think that's the only place where you can add value to the team at this point.
I don't even know, and even on I don't disagree, but even on that side of the ball, I don't even know who you can trade for. Like, I'm looking at free agency at this point, and I'm trying to find a safety. And I'm not saying that safety is going to start. I'm saying, nigga, we need somebody. I'm looking at safety, or I'm looking at edge to go alongside Dorrance, and I'm trying to figure out how I can make this defensive line that I personally, not coaches, I personally have respect for it. Like, how can I make this like an actual dominant group when we're talking about third and gotta have it, second and gotta have it, and like this defensive line gets a sack and you can trust that they're gonna get the pressure without you sending that blitz. I don't know who that's gonna be, but that's the only reason why, AJ, where I say, like, when we talking about that running back spot, bro, I'm not over here thinking about trading for that position, bro. It's just
I guess like
I ain't there, bro.
I feel like they're missing something in the run game and in the running back being involved in the pass game. I mean, we've seen how heavily involved Austin Eckler was in the pass game. They don't have that. Like, last night, luckily, McNichols was able to get like a first down on that dump off, but they don't have anyone necessarily that can run good enough routes coming out of the backfield. Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm open to seeing what happens in general. I mean, CJ Gardner Johnson is not somebody I'm even thinking of. That's a bad locker room guy. Like, solid player on the field. If you could remove the
Moneyball, you just don't understand, bro. I'm talking about you talking. You just don't understand, bro.
What did he say? He said something earlier, bro. I had it on the screen. I was like, you know what, bro? I ain't even gonna do it, bro. I ain't even going to engage, man. He was over here trying. He was trying.
Moneyball be in his own world, bro. Like he hear what he want to hear, and he see what he want.
He was trying to ice me up, bro. I get it though, dog. I get it, bro. I don't want no problems, Moneyball. Leave me alone, bro.
We are missing our best run blocker. Who is that?
They used to most Sam Cosmi.
Probably Sam Cosmi, which I agree with. He probably is.
That's your best run blocker.
What's the other option?
Honestly, but that's the thing, though. I think the offensive line has been fine in the run game all season.
Right, Jaden had time last night.
Now that part.
I want more to look at Andrew Wiley last night because I swear that
I'm about to say now that part. I felt pressure through my screen when he was dropping back last night, and I'm like, where the fuck is this pass rush coming from? Now, granted, he got the ball off quick in most situations, but like that pressure came at random times, like especially on those third downs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at defense first. I think that's the most important thing, bro. And I know it's gonna piss me off. That's why I'm glad I took the day off. But tomorrow, I'm at it first thing in the morning. I don't understand. Let's kind of. I hate that. I agree with people when they say like people are so overreactive, wins or losses. But like in losses, people have like this "the world is over" mentality. And you know, I think it's irresponsible to do that early in the season because, for example, because we were doing our show, and I don't think that this is the same thing, but what I will say is like you just never knew. The Commanders went on like a 4-game or 5-game winning streak. I don't remember what it was. With Taylor Heineke in like the 2022 season, 2023 season, whatever year that they played Vegas, because I remember that it was a winning streak. Yeah. Whatever year that they played Vegas in Vegas, and they beat Vegas. 2021. Okay. And they were in like positioning for a playoff spot. They won like 3 or 4 straight. And like that came out of nowhere. They weren't good. They ended up folding down the stretch. No questions about that. But I say that to say, like, again, you don't know where the spark comes from. So I think, like, at this early point in the season, while we understand things ain't Moneyball.
See what I mean? He hear what he want to hear. He see what he want to see. That's Moneyball in a nutshell.
That's ridiculous, bro. I didn't even get to my point. all I'm saying is, and I'll get to my point quick, because apparently I can't even get my point across without him just jumping the gun.
Bro, Moneyball is the biggest troll that we know, bro.
He is. I love it though.
How the fucking hell does Taylor Heineke's name get brought up in this conversation, bro?
Well,
I said that. Listen,
man, hurry up.
What I'm saying
is, bro, because I just got mad. Forget even the loss. The fact that I even had to read Taylor Heineke's name just now.
Let's hear Maul's point, man. Yeah, Maul trying to make this point, man.
Where I'm getting at. It's actually crazy because like AJ, I can't believe AJ just pulled a Moneyball. That's ridiculous. Look, what I'm saying is,
what if I am Moneyball?
You might be. It might be your burner because he agree with you a lot. He said AJ always on one.
And if he agree with you one more time, we about to boot you out the show for the rest of the show. All right. So here's my last thing. All I'm saying is, in that moment, and y'all know for a fact, I don't go back to that. I don't go back to nothing pre Dan Quinn, Josh Harris, all that. I don't do that no more. All I'm saying is, when it happened, we didn't see that happening, right? Like that moment where things turned around for a blip, for a millisecond, it happened, right? We didn't see it coming. All I'm saying is the way things are turning out with the way they're playing defensively and the way like this offense gets to the slow starts, I just think that there's something that you got to be mindful of. Like we may not see it coming, and we don't know what the switch or the click will be for this team. I think that there's an opportunity here. I can't tell anybody. I don't know what it's going to be. I have reasons for why I have areas where they can improve and what can make them play better, right? I just think like in this moment with this stretch coming up, there's opportunities to improve. Some of these games are winnable. It's not like you're going to lose 5 straight. It's not like you're going to lose 4 or 3 straight, right? You have an opportunity right now to turn things around, and I just don't know the pinpoint or the catalyst of what it'll be. Yeah, I don't know what the catalyst will be. I just think that people need to be open to the idea that things will change, and this defense can turn things around. I just understand it, and I'm aware that it's hard to see it, and that's where I was getting at. It was hard to see it then. They won that 4-game stretch, and that's a random team, right? A random roster. I just think that when you think about situations and teams, generally speaking, that is why, like, you got to understand, like, things can just pop off at any second. And granted, yes, we're talking about 2 different quarterbacks. We're talking about 2 different rosters. I just think it's important to acknowledge that, that's how week to week and how much of a high variable NFL that the team that they are, like, that's just what they are, bro. Like, it's possible. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Mual, and I'm gonna finish with this. I think this team's gonna have to lean into Dan Quinn and what he brings to the table. Like everyone, former players, even current players, always talk about how they love DQ, how they'll play for him. And I think if they really love playing for a guy like DQ, they really, especially, talking about the defensive side of football, offensive too, but in general, the overall discipline of the team has to get better. I mean, there's too many mental errors. There's too many guys, like some people might say they're not listening to wit or whatever. But if anything, they're going to have to play for each other, and they're going to have to feed off of Dan Quinn's energy. And I think this is where Dan Quinn as a CEO comes through. How can you get these guys to play for you? How can you get these guys to believe in what you're bringing to the table, like especially last year? Again, this group may be a little bit more talented than last year. They may not be saying much because it's still a flawed roster, but how can you get to that point where you feel like you can go out and win any game? And that's as a whole unit. So they're going to have to play together, play for each other. And I think it starts with Dan Quinn getting that energy out of the guys if they're going to have any kind of run to what you were alluding to, Mual.
All right, cool. I think we good then. Plumber, what's up? Who's pouring in their cup? Hey, come on, bro. You know what time it is, bro. That dog. Where the
Mual ain't even have a cup. Mual been drinking out the bottle all night.
Moneyball, I don't like how you talking to me, bro. Honestly, bro, you're gonna have to see me with the hands, bro. Pull up to the next joint.
No, I want money, but we're gonna have to open up a call-in session. Let that man call in, bro. I'm tired of him typing.
Matter of fact, can we do this? Let's not even have a Dallas guest on, bro. Can we just open up the platform to some of our viewers on Thursday?
Look, bro, I tried to.
It's Cowboys week.
Sure. I'll do it. Cause I say that because I asked online. I was like, bro, should we do an open show? I was gonna do it tonight. I had one person respond back, so I'm like, I mean, social media is one thing, but I want to make sure that like we do this ahead of time so people who want to call in. But I'm like, bro, like, all right, cool, let's do it. We talking about on the show right now. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that we will be doing an open show Thursday. To hell with a guest, or if we even do a guest, we'll just do like the first 15 minutes of the show, and then we'll
no cowboy person anyway. But if you get one, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm about to say we'll worry about that then. So yeah, that's it. We'll call it there. Jay Tizzy. Hey, bro, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this, bro. It's Henny Mual, bro. I'm good. Don't worry about me, bro. So yeah. All right, cool. We'll do open show Thursday. We'll be back then. All 32 tomorrow. AJ Dre, man.
Hey, Dre, did you try the Monday Night Miracle on Sunday?
What do you mean?
The drink.
Oh, no. I saw it on the menu, but I didn't even try. I just stuck to my basics. Man.
What was it?
It was a bunch of shit.
Oh man, it's a Don Julio Reposado spicy margarita with some like strawberries and stuff inside. Nah, that joint crack. But you'll experience it November 1st. November 1st. We on Monday Night Miracles.
We're gonna take a shot this time. I said we're gonna take a shot and everything this time.
Oh yeah, now we. I'm gonna text y'all. I'm gonna text y'all once we get off the show real quick. See y'all thoughts on it.
All right,
about somebody. But yeah.
Okay. Jay Tyler, there we go. That's it.
Hey, bro, margaritas are
drink margaritas.
Hey, Jay Tizzy, pull up to.
Okay.
Hey, Jay Tyler need to come out next time. Come out,
Hey, no bullshit.
Jay Tyler, clock it.
We had some people pull up from
Moneyball can come out there too. You know what I'm saying? It's all love.
No, Jay Tyler got to come on Thursday. Like, you got to come on Thursday, bro. You got to come on.
Hey, nah, I agree with this. Like, the way AJ smoke hookah, bro, at his rate, bro, it's insane. I actually tried to get him counseling, but he said he don't need that shit.
Hey, bro. Hey, clock it.
And all right, we gone, bro. Y'all take it easy, all so we about here, man.
Clock.
Chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.